So the first new exhibition of 2020 was Mary and Gary Carlson's Constructing Imagination. And I like the way that they combined recognizable materials like musical instruments, farm tools, and old car parts. It made their sculptures both a treat to look at, and I thought it made it accessible to everyone.
That outreach day, that day with the elementary students was so much fun, and it reminded me that the Art Center has such a strong commitment to outreach programming.
When we first transitioned to closing the Art Center for in-person classes, having virtual classroom experiences seemed like an enormous endeavor. But one of the first classes to jump right in was Studio Coffee, and we can always rely on them to be such a great group of people to come together at the Art Center.
I was just amazed at how wonderfully it turned out. I also have to say I was blown away by the maturity of the artwork that the students did. Their fearless expression is, I would say, inspiring.
We held the first ever virtual award ceremony for Right Now. And this featured video readings from each of the awards of excellence.
At a moment's notice, it seemed last spring, we transitioned from hosting 800 supporters in one day to a virtual format that became Heart for Art at Home.
We had no idea how people were going to receive this or engage, and the support was so overwhelming and so tremendous.
Our summer classes were really monumental for us. Students, they put their trust into us, to give them that same experience virtually.
Again, with the creativity and genius of our teaching artists, they put together an amazing library of kids' classes for this summer.
Well, it was just so nice with wet paint to be able to help us out and get all this stuff going. It was really something.
I think a lot of families missed out on a lot of the traditional Manitou Day festivities. And we've always had the sandcastle contest. So we replaced it with this Castles and Creatures contest. People got really creative, and so it was a great opportunity for families to submit their photos.
Oh, this was such a wonderful experience. We had this plein air contest online and opened it up to the whole world, and they responded. Well, and another piece that felt like normality was the Splash, Minnesota Watercolor Society. Getting to work with them, even though it was virtual, I felt like we got to meet new people.
I had such a great time doing this with Kyle in collaboration. I think the work was in response to what was going on at the time of George Floyd's murder, and being able to create work in relationship or in response to what happened during these events is something that I think has been very impactful.
Well, at this time too, we had a group of artists from Studio 400, emerging artists, and Leslie Barlow.
Something that I'll always remember is just about this time is how we've heard it often, how it's hard to make art these days and how it's changed emotionally and otherwise. And I was so moved by the courage of these young artists. And they're really leaders, brave leaders.
Jan had the genius idea of doing one of my favorite ballets, Swan Lake, right here on the parking lot. And it was a way that we could be together safely and able to kind of bring that classic ballet experience, but 2020 style.
To hear Peyton Russell talk about graffiti art and its relevance and techniques and intersection with culture today I loved hearing people say, I see the world differently now after listening to this half an hour artist talk.
The Garden of Black Joy panel was hosted by Keynote Ebal again, and we also had the authors of the anthology there discussing Black Joy, especially in the context of this summer. And at the end, they read some of their poetry. That was just such a reflective moment where you could pause and just listen to their poetry, and it was just beautiful.
The Sunday Arts Markets were such a great and safe way for our community to come together, to see art, to see each other, the opportunities to make art, to support our artists as well. One of the fun components of the arts markets was Kyle's community fence weaving project. This allowed people to make art together. It was a way of connecting through that art making experience.
I think the members show this year is one of the most beautiful that we've ever seen at the Art Center. We have so many talented professional artists that come in and enter this contest. It's always amazing.
This was such a beautiful, bittersweet event. The decommissioning of the labyrinth was really a very special moment to be able to express our gratitude. To me, the simplicity of this piece and yet the complexity of it really speak to the power of it. The tragedy of so many lives being lost, depersonalized, is really captured to me in the sterile nature of the mask. And yet also the color, the blue, ephemeral nature of this piece also speaks to me of the transcendence of this work. All of this creates a very sacred place at the Art Center.
The recipe book was such a fun project because it involved collecting recipes and stories and drawings from staff, board members, and instructors, and putting it together in a book that resembles really the great heart and sense of community at the center of White Bear Center for the Arts.
I am so thankful that the team is doing the creative care packages again. I hear from people that this is still a really valuable touch point where they do feel still very connected to the Arts Center.
I'm just so proud of how we've continued to expand our virtual programming and perfect it and learn how to adapt. So the insides of this catalog really reflect our growth in that department, but then also is such a great image about looking forward to our exciting expansion.
Well, here it is, folks. Here is the light at the end of the tunnel, what we all have to look forward to coming back to. But what a vision of reunion that we can hold on to, and what a vision of a future that includes us all in the work of the Art Center.
Well, as you can see, this past year has been a testament to the creative spirit and the resiliency of our community when we pull together. Thanks to your continued participation and generous support, White Bear Center for the Arts is still enriching lives and nourishing imaginations by connecting people even during these most challenging times. But we can't do it without you, and the Art Center needs you now more than ever. Please consider making a year-end gift. You can give through our website or through following the links in this video, or simply by calling the office. My whole heart thanks you for your generosity, your kindness, and for loving White Bear Center for the Arts. Be well, and thank you so much.
We thank you for your support.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for loving White Bear Center for the Arts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support all year long.
Thank you for being a part of WBCA in 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting White Bear Center for the Arts this year.
Thank you so much for your continued support of White Bear Center for the Arts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being there this year.
Thank you all for being part of the White Bear Center for the Arts community.
The center, all you folks, my second family, you don't even know how much you mean to me.